Before I even begin the video, I am not saying our Jinx and Ekko cannot work. I am simply saying that the love we witnessed in episode 7 of Arcane Season 2 is impossible for our Jinx and Ekko to live in. Sure, we saw Ekko have his fun and sweet moments with Powder, but there are too many factors to consider when thinking about Timebomb. So let's go over why this love will never happen in our timeline. While we see throughout the show that Ekko has become a hero, a firelight, a freedom fighter, Jinx has lost her identity even more. While Ekko has purpose, people, and support, Jinx has just hate. She has nothing this entire show. From Silco to Vi, Caitlyn to Isha, no one stays with her forever. No one lives with her, whether she loves them or hates them. Jinx has one identity trait, one thing that makes her separate from everyone else, the curse of death. Everyone around her dies except for her. This is something we've seen Jinx try to fight. We've seen her try her hardest to die, hoping to finally get the peace she needs. But to no avail, her only trait stays with her. Other than this trait, Jinx is always questioning herself, hearing voices, seeing people, and just going crazy all around. She wants a break, but life will never give it to her, and life has been very unfair to Jinx. It has screwed her up, messed with every happy thing she had, and overall tarnished her identity. Where am I going with this? This common information that all of you know. I'm not saying anything unique, but rather just painting a picture for you. This is because identity is a huge part of Arcane overall and is the biggest plot point for Jinx. Her counterpart, Powder, has an identity. She is a smart genius who helps people, tries to help Ekko as well, with scientific discoveries and overall life. She loves, she cares, she lives. She has an identity because there are people for her to be herself with. She is Powder because there are people who love Powder. On the other hand, Jinx has no one. She struggles to find someone who will love Jinx. Sure, Vi says she does, but we all know that's a lie. Sure, Isha does, but she blew up. Savika couldn't care enough, and everyone else is dead. Jinx struggles in her identity crisis because everyone around her is either Team Jinx or Team Powder, both sides sadly dying. This is until Ekko came into the picture in episode 9. So, from identity, we can learn the contrast of Powder and Jinx. One has purpose and light, being able to love others and live life to the fullest. The other has nothing, solely living because death cannot happen, living to see where else she will mess things up again. This tells us what each other needs from love, what they crave, what they get. Identity will help us set up context on the roots of their relationships, where the love began, what they wanted from their Ekko, what they need in love, etc. We know who Jinx and Powder are. The funny thing is that Ekko is the same in both cases because of the whole Hex Tech ruckus. Let's begin this segment by talking about what Ekko wants in terms of love. Ekko has always had a crush on Jinx, not because he's into crazy girls or the Snow Bunny effect, but rather because Jinx is just like him. They both are geniuses that come from poverty. Both grew up fighting to survive together, but also grew up with each other, playing, talking, connecting, learning, etc. These two have done most of their childhood spending time with one another. So naturally, of course, there's some type of love to be built. It can be platonic, it can be romantic, but it can't be a sibling love. We know that for sure because Ekko has talked about Jinx needing to die or her going too far. This isn't something a sibling would say. Look at how Vi responds, right? She says that Jinx needs to die, but she never can do it. Ekko can move on from Jinx, meaning it is either platonic or romantic. Now we know that both of them are lonely, but we also know that Ekko has enough friends. He has enough support from people in Zaun. Hell, you may argue he is the chillest guy in Zaun. So I would doubt he would love Jinx in a platonic way. There has to be some romance there. We even see how he hesitates to kill her. So now we know Ekko loves Jinx, but let's see why he loves Powder as well. That's because everything that happened to Jinx was Ekko's fault. He messed up and told them to rob Jace. We are never shown this, but I'm sure Ekko has a lot of guilt for everything that's happened. And a part of him wants to go and save Jinx, bring her back to the light, to Powder. So imagine having this guilt, this dream, etc., and seeing it come true. Seeing a person who you love be the best they can be, knowing that this is someone your person can become. Ekko fell in love with Powder, but he also fell in love with the idea of knowing Jinx can be fixed. She can be this powder. So Ekko's love stems from someone like him, smart, chill, goofy, artistic, etc. Ekko loves Jinx since they were 10, but he also has a guilt in his heart knowing he was a part of the problem that made Jinx Jinx. So when he sees a perfect version of Powder, he loves that version, but also gets hope and love that he can go and fix his Jinx. Ekko falls in love with Powder and Jinx at the same time. Every moment you see him with Powder, he sees Jinx right there instead. Now let's talk about Powder, the shortest part of this segment. This is because she has no life issues. She grew up in a Zaun that was healthy and connected to Piltover. There was peace in the city and in her life. Every problem, Hextech, Silco, the bomb, etc. was gone. There was everything she needed except for Vi. But I guess when everything else is alive, it's a lot easier to move on. So you could argue Powder just wishes for pure love, organic, intimate, and raw emotions. She wishes to have a basic love story, no particular guilt or feelings shape it, no particular standards, just your typical love. This is why she loves Ekko, because both of them connect in a simple and working manner. This is why their love is different. They have all the time to focus on the love, the intimate moments, and the same goals. Jinx, she desires love. She craves it, and we see this all the time. She told Vi to kill Caitlyn for her. She killed Silco for Vi. She tried her hardest to not be overprotective over Isha. She did her best for Savika and even tried to save Isha in the end. Jinx needs someone to love her. Not just a basic love or a generic love story, but she desires it on another level. A level that is obsessive, unhealthy, toxic, and even violent. She wants a love that never leaves her, stands by her despite everything. A love that will survive the curse of death Jinx has. Most importantly, she wants a love that accepts her. We know how many times people try to just fix her. She doesn't want that. She wants to be accepted. And the thing is, Ekko is the only one to do that. In episode 9, when Jinx is giving up, ending it all to give everyone else love, Ekko comes and says, "It is never too late to build something new." Unlike what Vi said before, we can fix your story. Ekko accepts Jinx for who she is, accepts that she is wrong and there's nothing you can do to fix the past. His hope of fixing Jinx, because he's seen what she can be, not what she should be, is the type of love Jinx wants. So why can they not have the same love? Because Jinx doesn't want something just intimate, something basic. She needs someone there for her. There are requirements to this love. There is no happiness for a long time. There has to be patience, dedication, and willingness to work it out. With Jinx, Ekko can't just dance, can't kiss, can't sit on a cliff and just talk, enjoy life. That type of love doesn't exist for someone so broken, someone so done, someone like Jinx. So as I end this segment, understand that Jinx needs love that will heal her, not a typical love story. In episode 8, we see Jinx talk with Silco in her mind, and we learn about the cycle. We learn how Zaun and Piltover will never be at peace because of the cycle of violence. We learn Jinx has to leave or die to end her own cycle. That staying here is not going to fix anything. This is something Powder does not experience. She is surrounded not by negativity, pain, and violence. She is surrounded by peace, love, and acceptance. So we see her be happy, dance, grow as a person, and love in a way based off of the environment. We see how Ekko, despite his life, could breathe and take a well-earned rest here because there was no need of fighting, no need of violence. This universe can breathe. This relaxed tempo causes love to build up at a nice speed, showing us intimate moments but also the build-up, showing us beauty in each other's eyes but also growth. For example, this scene right here with Ekko and Powder just relaxing on the cliff. We could never see this with Kate or Vi because they don't have time to relax. Instead, we either see them make time immediately for the intimate scene or just fight together. This alternative universe is beautiful. And no matter how much Ekko helps Jinx, no matter how much she loves him, they cannot work in their Zaun. That is never going to happen. Sure, Savika got a position on the council, but we also saw the way she was looked at. Peace is not a possibility in the present of our universe. Therefore, Ekko will always be needed, and this stops him from joining Jinx. This is my next subject that needs to be brought up. How will they work? Did Ekko leave Zaun for Jinx? Because we know Jinx left. Oh, and she is alive. No need for me to explain that. Go watch the 1,000 videos explaining it. So here comes the question. Did Ekko stay? And if he left, then whose name did he burn? It could all make sense in the next show. Perhaps Jinx and Ekko are a cool cameo, or a bigger importance, etc. But then whose name did Ekko burn? Heimerdinger? Maybe, but I guess this is something we will know when we see Timebomb again. To conclude this segment, it isn't possible for our Jinx and Ekko to love in the same way as Powder and Ekko because there is no time to breathe in Zaun. It is still violent, still in ruins, and peace is a faraway galaxy. Sure, their love may still be just as beautiful, but do not expect a vibrant visual masterpiece of love like episode 7. It will be beautiful for all the opposite reasons. As I conclude this video, I think it's important to revisit the original point. Timebomb or Jinx and Ekko do not work the same way Powder and Jinx in the alternate universe do. This is because of their Zaun, their identities, and their love/requirements of love. So yeah, Jinx and Ekko will make a great set of lovers that I can't wait to see more of. But don't expect them to end up like their counterparts. Expect something worse, something far more real, and you'll be happier.